I wanted to talk about something today that I think is kind of a really weird place that our sport is in right now. And what I mean by that, so Drew Gill just won a tournament on the Chowan River, North Carolina, MLF BPT event. Young angler, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the brightest upcoming stars in bass fishing, period, full stop. Like, the kid is amazing. But he is a straight up expert with forward facing sonar, and obviously that is like a hot button subject right now. Like, everybody's got their opinions on it. I've got my opinions on it. Some of my opinions I like about it, or some of my opinion is I like stuff about it. Other of my opinion is I don't like stuff about it. But the weird part is every tournament now that's won using forward facing sonar, does that tournament get an asterisk beside it? Does it get like, that one counts, but not really, like, because he was using forward-facing sonar? I don't know. That's just it's a weird place that our sport is in right now. But one of the things that like about Drew Gill's Chowan River win that's really neat is that, yes, he was using forward-facing sonar. Yes, he used forward-facing sonar all the time. I mean, and he's kind of known as the guy, like last year, like you could see him, he was always hunched over, kind of staring down at the thing, and now he's got that deal that gets his graphs up off, and he's not hunched over all the time anymore. But like I said, he got his first signature win, you know what I mean? And here's the thing, he's known as one of that group of anglers, the really young guys coming in they're solely relying on forward-facing sonar and kicking all the old guys' butts. Like, it's a fact. That's how it's going down. But one of the things I wanted to say about Drew Gill's win that I think is a little bit different from some of these other wins, and it kind of, in a way, reminded me of some of the fish that Dustin Connell caught when he won Redcrest. But what Drew Gill was really doing, did he see some fish on his forward-facing sonar, throw right at that fish, throw at it a couple times as it moved till it bit? Absolutely, no doubt about it. But most of the time, what he was doing, see, on that Chowan River, it's mostly all cypress trees, just cypress trees lining both sides of it, all over the place. Mostly what he was doing, and a lot of the other guys too, Matt Becker, Wheeler, some of those other guys, they were really targeting those stumps, those cypress tree stumps that have been broke off, just from wind and wave action. And obviously, the cypress trees some of them get old and they die. Well, the top of the tree falls over, but the stump is still out there under the water, and they're out there on that Chowan River. Some of them are out there in 6, 7, 8 feet of water. And that's what a lot of these guys, actually there was some in like 11 feet of water. But that's what, some of these guys and most of the top guys were doing. It was in June, the fish are done spawning. They're kind of moving out off the bank. And that's just a place that they're gonna come to. But apparently, a lot of the local guys maybe, don't fish those out offshore stumps. I'm sure they know about them. Or maybe the fish were just getting out there, whatever. But these guys, they were kind of fishing stuff that you really didn't need live forward-facing sonar, although it's definitely the best for it because you can see the fish around the stumps and you can see your lure. But most of these guys, the way I talk to them and what I understand, is they could have found those same stumps just with their side imaging and marked them, turned back around and fired at them like that. So it wasn't a deal where you really needed it. And in talking to Gil and in talking to some of those other guys, they're panning their forward-facing sonar around out there, but most of the time they weren't actually trying to see the fish. They were just finding the stumps. They were also finding where the trees had broken off and floated a little bit away from the stumps, or just the parts of the trees that were still there. They were catching a lot of fish off of that. So really, yes, 100% they were using their forward-facing sonar, but a lot of them were using it just to find the cover, to find the stumps, to find the big branches, the trunks of the trees that had broken off, fallen over, the old dead trees, broken off, fallen over, laying down there on the bottom. That's what they were really doing. And of course, yes, they pan around, a trunk of a tree that's got a couple branches sticking off of it, and they see a few fish swimming around it. Yes, they give it a couple more casts. But it wasn't like some of these, Smith Lake events, some of these Dale Hollow, for instance, where these guys were tracking actual single fish with their graph and firing at it. It was still using forward-facing sonar 100%, like I said, full stop 100%, but it was like they were using it to find the cover and not necessarily picking off every individual fish that they saw. So once again, are you gonna call this one a forward-facing sonar win? Yeah, probably so. It was a forward-facing sonar win, it was. But like I said, it was a different deal. And here's the cool thing too. There was a lot of people on the Chowan River that caught them frogging. Fred Rumbanis caught them frogging really good. He caught them power shotting really good. There was some guys that caught them cranking. So it was kind of one of those mixes of, it wasn't everybody just doing forward-facing sonar, and it wasn't everybody just, like our last event that we had at Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma Lake Eufaula, not the one that I've fished all the time up there in Alabama, which is one of my favorite lakes, but Lake Eufaula, which I'm sure is a really cool lake too. I just haven't fished there before, driven over it on I-40 a couple times, but never fished it. But that was pretty much all old school fishing at that one. This Chowan River was kind of it was a mix of old school, and it's not without its controversies either. Zach Burge lowered his boat, got water in his boat, pulled his plug, put water in his boat, got underneath the bridge. MLF said he couldn't do that. Well, they said he could, then they said he couldn't, and then they said they could again, and whatever, because there's always a little bit of controversy in all of these tournaments. So, but anyway, this one, Chowan River, I'm not gonna chalk it all the way up to forward-facing sonar. I'm gonna give it like a half forward-facing sonar, because he really wasn't pinpointing the fish, he was pinpointing the cover. Actually, I think it was awesome. And we all knew Drew Gill's first win was coming. Boom, he put it on there, got the $100,000 check. Congrats to him, and once again, I'm gonna chalk it half up to forward-facing sonar.